Hey guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So I'm very excited about today's video because we are celebrating my 5-year BookTube anniversary. Yes, I have been a part of the book community for 5 years. It feels like it has gone by really fast, but it feels like it's also been 5 years since I have been doing this, and I'm honestly surprised that I've been able to stick with this for 5 years because I get bored really easily, and I tend to start something and get really excited about it, and then my excitement will fizzle out after some time, and then I will no longer do whatever it is I was excited about. But honestly, I have really been enjoying my time here on BookTube, and I'm doing the one thing that I absolutely love, and that is talking about books, and I don't foresee myself stopping anytime soon. So over on my community tab, I had asked you guys to ask me questions about the BookTube community or any general questions that you guys wanted me to answer. And I did receive a few questions there. I also asked the same question over on my Instagram and I got a ton of questions there. So a lot of the questions revolve around the BookTube community and my experience with it. Some questions revolve around filming and editing. And then I got a few fun random questions that I will answer at the end. I have all of my questions written down in my little notebook, so I will be reading them from there, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. So the first question that I got asked, and I was actually asked this a couple of times, is basically why did I join the BookTube community? And I honestly have a really boring answer for that. It's the same answer that I feel like we all give, but I wanted to join this community because I really love talking about books. I get so excited when I start talking about books with other people, whether I like the book, whether I didn't like the book. I just like discussing books in general. And in my personal life, I didn't really have too many people that I could actually discuss books with who would actually care about what I was saying. My dad reads a lot. We just don't tend to sometimes read the same things. And then my mom used to read a lot, but she doesn't read anymore. And then I only had like 1 or 2 friends that read books, but they didn't read as much as I did. So I just decided to finally join the community, and I wanted to connect with other people. And that's honestly what I was able to do. Another question that I got was, how long did it take for my channel to grow? And after 5 years, I'm actually finally seeing some consistent channel growth, but I really did not see any growth on my channel until I had been on BookTube for a year. So silly me, when I first joined the community, I didn't realize it was gonna take me so long to grow. I thought that it was gonna just take me posting a couple videos and then my channel would just kind of grow from there. And that is not what happened. I believe I was stuck on 32 subscribers for a long time. And those 32 subscribers, I'm pretty sure were close family and friends. So it definitely took a little bit before I actually saw any channel growth. And I want to say that about 6 months in is where I finally got into like a rhythm. I got into a schedule, something that I will talk about a little bit later. And once I started posting consistently, it's also when I started seeing some consistent growth. Mind you, it was really slow in the beginning, but after that year, I will say is when I really started to see consistent growth, and I've had consistent growth since then. So hello to all of my new subscribers. But yeah, it did take about a year. So the next few questions that I'm gonna answer have to do with like filming and editing. And before I jump into those questions, I kind of wanna give you guys some background into like what I use to film and edit. I use my phone. I told myself that I did not want to like spend a lot of money on like cameras or software or anything until I was for sure that I was gonna stick with it. It has been 5 years later and I'm still using my phone. My phone does a wonderful job. It does what I need it to do. And so far that has been good with me. I think now my fear is if I decide to go ahead and spend a lot of money on like a camera or better equipment, then I'm not gonna wanna do it anymore. So until my phone is no longer good, I'm going to continue to use it. I also do use a ring light. It is a ring light that I've had for 5 years. It is the first ring light that I bought. It still works. It does what I needed to do. I think when I bought it, it was only like 30 bucks. And yeah, that's what I use. I do have a MacBook. I use iMovie. iMovie is free, and iMovie does exactly what I need it to do. I use it to edit my videos. I don't do a lot of fancy stuff. That's something that I will talk about in a little bit from another question, but iMovie works great for me. It's another situation where I did not want to spend money on like fancy software until I was sure I was going to stick with it. Again, it's been 5 years later. iMovie has been working great for me. I guess another piece of like small equipment that I have is like a little tripod that I can take anywhere, like a portable tripod. I don't really use that a lot. I kind of use it when I'm filming or trying to film like B-roll for vlogs, when I can easily take it around with me different places. But outside of that, it doesn't really get much use. So basically I use my phone, I use a little cheap ring light that I have, and then I use iMovie, which is free. So now we will go ahead and jump into the filming and editing questions. So one of the questions is, what's your funniest or most chaotic filming blooper story? And I don't really have any like blooper stories. There is a lot of stuff that I edit out, and a majority of like the bloopers, I guess, that I edit out is I laugh a lot. Even when I am talking about something so serious, I don't know if it's like nerves, I don't know what it is, but I tend to laugh and giggle, and once I start laughing, it is hard for me to stop. So I end up editing a lot of laughter out. I have somewhat been leaving some of my little laughing fits in my videos just because, you know, it kind of fits for whatever it is I'm talking about. But yeah, I tend to laugh a lot. I am so unserious. The next question is, how has my filming or editing style evolved since my first video? Not much has changed since I started filming. I don't really do a lot of fancy things with my videos, as you guys know. I'm literally just sitting here talking to you guys about my books. I don't include like a lot of sound clips or a lot of memes or anything like that. I mean, I have done different types of videos that require that kind of stuff, but just for my normal standard videos, I'm not adding a lot of that stuff. I mean, I have tried to start vlogging a little bit more. So, I mean, I guess I started like incorporating music, but I don't do anything. My filming style hasn't really changed since the beginning. Another good question that I got was, how long does it take you to make a single video, editing included? The time it takes to film really depends on the type of video that I am filming. So like for my recent reads, those tend to take a little bit longer to film just because I'm talking about so many books in one video, and normally they take about 30 to 40 or 45 minutes to film. And then when I edit those, it probably takes about an hour and a half. When I'm just doing like sit down reviews, for the most part, those don't really take that long, less than an hour, sometimes less than 30 minutes, depending on the book that I'm talking about. And then they probably take an hour or less to edit. So it really just depends on the type of video that I'm trying to film. Now, sometimes videos will take me longer to film because I can't, for whatever reason, just turn on the camera and start filming. It's like I have to practice for a second. I have to like practice the intro, because as soon as I turn the camera on, my mind like blanks and I forget what I'm talking about. And I get distracted so easily. So in my room, I'm filming in front of my shelves, but over here, there is a big window and I can see straight out into the parking lot for my apartments. And I get so distracted by people walking up, by deliveries being made, by people walking their dogs, a bird might fly across, and I just get so distracted. And that can cut into how long it takes me to film a video, because sometimes I have to restart over and over until I get into a really good groove, and then can just start talking and not stop until I'm done. So it literally just depends on what I'm filming. Another question is, are there any lost videos you filmed but never posted, and why? So there's not necessarily a lot of videos that I've tried to start, but I never just post them. But I have started a lot of vlogs. I don't do a lot of vlogs. I don't really feel like I'm good at doing them. And I always tend to start them and then I never finish them because one, I'm just not the type of person that I always have my phone out ready to take a picture or ready like to record something. I have to consciously think about it. So when I am filming, I have to consciously remember that I'm trying to film a vlog and I need like certain clips, or I need to make sure I remember to give a mid-book review update or whatever. I really have to think about it. And so I tend to start a lot of vlogs and then those vlogs will end up turning into like a sit down video. So just know that some of these reviews that I do with like a couple books here or there, they probably started off as a vlog and then I just turned it into just a sit down video. Next question is, what's a video you're still proud of from my early days? So when I first started filming, I tried to do a bunch of different things to kind of see what stuck. Now, back when I first started filming, do you guys remember when everybody was doing like the one chip challenge and they were eating those really spicy like tortilla chips? Well, I had the bright idea that I was gonna eat one of those on camera, and then I really believe I was trying to do like a recent reads. So the plan was to eat the hot chip, and then after I let it settle in my mouth for a minute, I was going to try and do a recent reads. Now I did film it, I did put the video out. A lot of people didn't watch it, but I was really excited about that video because I almost died for you guys. That chip was so hot. I have never experienced pain like that before in my life. And my poor mother was at my house that day because she wanted to see me film this once I told her what I was gonna do, and she was like, oh, I have to see that. This poor woman was in my room when I almost died. She almost watched her daughter die from a chip because that's exactly what happened. I started sweating, I started watering, my hair like poofed out. It was crazy, and it is all caught on camera. So I will find that video. I will link it down below, but if you just need like a little quick laugh, you want to see me really uncomfortable, then you can watch that video. But even though I almost died, I did have a lot of fun filming that and watching myself back. So again, I will have that video linked down below in case you guys want to watch it. Now, mind you, it is an old video, a really old video. I have evolved and grown since then. So don't worry about the quality of the video, but it is a pretty entertaining video to watch. So now we're going into some questions that is more revolved around my experience with the BookTube community and how it has affected my reading. So the question is, what is the most important lesson this channel has taught you as a reader? And I think since I've been on BookTube, the most important lesson that I've learned is just to read the things that I enjoy. Sometimes it is hard, and this is going to be another question that comes down the line, but sometimes it's hard to not read the books that everybody else is reading, especially when you are trying to make content. But what I find is that I don't enjoy really the content I'm making if I'm not reading the things that I enjoy. So I really try to make sure that even if it's a really popular book, that if it doesn't sound good to me, I'm not gonna read it. Now, I have gotten myself in trouble with that because sometimes I just can't help myself. I just have to know. But I really try to focus on just the things that I feel like I think I'm gonna enjoy. It doesn't always work out that way. I don't always enjoy everything that I pick up, but I go into the books that I read hoping, really hoping that I'm going to enjoy them. The next question, and I thought this was a really good question, it is, how has BookTube affected your reading pace or habits, TBR, genre, and formats? So, since I have started BookTube, I have, of course, needed to read a lot more than before I joined this community. And the biggest reason for that is because, in my personal opinion, in my experience, I feel like I have to read a lot more so that I am able to get out content to you guys. If I am not constantly reading, then I don't have anything to talk about. I don't think me just reading a book here or there is going to be worth it for a channel. I don't like talking about the same books over and over and over again. And I honestly feel like I see that in some people's channels, and that's fine if that works for them. But for me, I want to constantly tell you guys about new stuff that I'm reading, not necessarily new releases, but new books to me. I want to give you guys different type of recommendations and tell you guys about different things. I don't want to talk about the same 10 books over and over and over again. So I do feel like there is, I don't want to say pressure, but there is kind of more like of an incentive to want to read more so that I have more content for you guys. Also with that, because I'm reading more, I have found new genres, and I have also started listening to a ton of audiobooks so that I'm able to get through a lot more books. Before I started BookTube, I told myself that I would never listen to audiobooks because I never felt like I had the attention span for it. But once I started listening to one audiobook and I felt like I had a great experience with it, now half of my reading is done through audio, especially now that I have a job where I can listen to an audiobook for a majority of my day. I tend to listen to more audiobooks, hence the reason I'm able to get through more books and make more content. And kind of going back to a previous question, it says, do you ever feel pressured to read hyped books? How do you handle that? Yes, there is a pressure, in my opinion, to read hype books because that's what you guys, for the majority, want to hear about. You guys want to hear about how we feel about these new hot books that are coming out. And yes, it is somewhat of a pressure to read those because for your content, you also want people to watch it. And we know as content creators that with certain popular books, it's going to get views. And that's kind of the purpose of posting on YouTube, is you want to get views. So there does have to be a balance between reading the hype books plus reading the books that you want to read and reading like older books. And I think that's part of my problem, is I'm trying to keep up with all of these new releases that I'm pushing the older books further and further and further down my TBR. I'm working on that. But also with the hype books, which I have gotten into a really good habit, is that I want to make sure that I liked the hype books that are coming out. I want to make sure that they are books that I am interested in. If I'm not interested in it and it really sounds like it is not a book that I'm going to enjoy, I just don't read it. I'm not even going to worry about it. Oh well, I'm only reading the hype books that I want to read. Another really good question that I got was, how has your rating style changed over time? Are you harsher, kinder, or just different? So I do feel like over time, my ratings for books has unfortunately become a little harsher. And that's not necessarily intentional. That's just because I read so many books that after a while, honestly, they all start to sound the same. They all start to seem like they have the same plots, the same type of characters. And so it has become a little harder and harder to blow me away, especially when it comes to like mystery thrillers. Once you read one certain plot twist, it's hard to then do that plot twist again and get the same type of reaction. And I think everybody can agree, like the more you read, the more it just feels like a lot of stuff sounds the same. And I really feel like I've just been giving out a lot of 3-star reviews because honestly, everything has just been fine. It's getting harder and harder to find stuff that is blowing me away. So unfortunately, yeah, I do think I've become a little harsher, but I think that's just because of the amount of books I have been reading. The next question is, what's helped you stay consistent over the years? So it took me, like I stated before, about 6 months before I really got into a really good groove of posting videos and posting them consistently. So I really had to find out, how many videos was I comfortable posting a week? What's the best day to post them? What's the right time to post? And I settled on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How I'm able to stay so consistent is I have just worked that into my everyday schedule. I know that I have to get a video out on Wednesday, so I need to make sure that every week I am fitting in my schedule somewhere time to film and time to edit. So it's basically just trying to find a schedule and find a time and day that works with you. And I was able to do that. Sometimes, not a lot of times, I'm able to film more than just putting out like that one video a week. But for the most part, I've been pretty consistent with doing it every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This was an interesting question. So the next question is there anything you did for growth that you never do again? So is there anything that I have done to try to get my channel to grow? So not necessarily, but there is one type of video that I make that I don't necessarily like to make, but I do make them because I know people like to watch them, myself included. And those videos are book hauls. Shocker. I do not like to film book hauls. The reason why I don't really like filming book hauls is because I don't have anything to say about the books because I haven't read them yet. So it's really hard for me to get in front of the camera and tell you guys about a book that I have not read. And I refuse to sit here and read the back of the book to you guys. I think that is very boring. So I really just try to stick to just reading the blurb. But I film those videos because I know people enjoy them. I don't really film them as often as some other people do, but I try to film them a few times every year. And every time I have to film them, I dread it. And I've started keeping track of the books that I'm buying since the last time I filmed the book haul. So that has gotten easier. But for me, sitting in front of a camera trying to tell you guys about a book I haven't read is hard. And I don't necessarily like it, but I do it. And I will continue to do it just because I know people enjoy book hauls. And honestly, I enjoy watching other people's book hauls, especially when they have like nice, pretty editions. But for me, they are kind of tough, but I do them because I know people enjoy them. The next question is, how do you handle negative comments or burnout? So I'm going to talk about the negative comments first. I don't get a lot of negative comments. I've gotten weird comments. And if I get a comment that I can't tell whether or not it's negative, I just like it and keep going. I have gotten comments where I can tell that people are very passionate about what they are saying. And sometimes I don't really know whether or not to engage with those kind of comments because I feel like no matter what I say, it's probably going to open up a can of worms that I just do not want to open. So I just kind of like and keep going. Now, there is one comment that I got that for some reason, it really rattled me because I just did not understand why this person decided to tell me this. But I don't remember what video it was on. I have since deleted the comment because it was so inappropriate. But this person decided to tell me that they enjoy reading while they are sitting on the toilet. I don't know why anyone would want to know that. I'm pretty sure they were trying to be funny, but I didn't find it funny and I deleted it as soon as I saw it. I did giggle. I did giggle a second when I first read it, but I didn't want anybody else to see it just because I didn't want people to think that that was okay to like post on my channel. So I don't necessarily get negative comments, but I do get some weird ones, and that was one of them. As far as burnout, in the beginning, I did experience a little bit of burnout, and that is because I wasn't giving myself grace and taking breaks. I always felt like, oh my gosh, no matter what, I have to get a video out every week. And now I am not like that. You guys probably have noticed there have been, a couple of months where you might get only 2 videos from me. I really have started giving myself grace. And if I don't feel like I'm in the mood to film or edit or both, I just don't. I do try to bulk film where I film multiple videos and have them scheduled out over the next few weeks. I do that sometimes. I used to do that a lot more, but that also helps with burnout, just so that you're not have to constantly trying to film every week. That hasn't really worked for me lately, just because I'm gonna be honest, I don't even really know what I'm filming from week to week sometimes. So, but I just take breaks when I feel like I need to take breaks, and that seems to work for me. The next question is, was there a turning point video or series that shifted your channel's direction? So for this one, I will say, There are some videos that I used to do that I don't do as much anymore that I'm gonna try to bring back in 2026. But I used to do this thing where I called it Which One Was Better, where I would read two books that have the same plot and tell you guys which one I thought was better. When I started doing that, those videos started to gain a lot of traction and people seemed to really enjoy those. I started getting a lot of comments on those. Those started to get a lot of views. And I noticed that anytime I posted them, my subscriber count would go up just a little bit. So I really think people enjoyed those. I actually like making those. I think they're fun. But yeah, once I started posting those, I started noticing that I would gain some new subscribers. And I really do want to try to get back to those videos in the upcoming year. The next question is, what type of video do you love making that doesn't always get the most views? And this one hurts my heart because I really have enjoyed making, and again, I haven't really made one of these in a while, where I do a book/movie review. I started doing those with Stephen King books when I was really into Stephen King. I had a moment and I was reading the books that had a movie that was associated with them. I really enjoyed making those, but they did not get a lot of views. And once I started getting good with my editing and started making or started including like video clips, I started realizing that those videos take a lot more time to make, and it just didn't seem like I was getting the payoff that I wanted to. So I've kind of slowed down on making those. But if you guys are interested in seeing more of those, I would love to do them. I just want to make sure people are going to watch them, but I do love making those kind of videos. So the next question I got is there a moment where you thought about quitting, and what kept you going? So the second part of that question kind of bleeds into the next question. But have I ever thought about quitting? Yes. And it seems like when I try to talk about this with people who do not make content, they don't really seem to understand. So there have been several times in my 5 years on BookTube where I feel like I wasn't getting the kind of growth that I wanted to get. And it was really discouraging when I saw people who started channels around the same time as me get the growth that I was hoping to get. When I explain this to people who aren't really like content creators, they're like, oh, well, you know, people are watching your videos, and they are. And I appreciate every single view that I get. But it is discouraging when you feel like you are putting in a lot of work and you're not seeing a payoff. And it's like when you post on social media, right? Whether that is YouTube, whether that's TikTok, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media platform you decide that you want to post on, the whole point is for people to interact with whatever it is you're posting. Because how would you feel if you were posting on Instagram and nobody liked your pictures? Like, it would be like, why am I posting if nobody's gonna like it, nobody's gonna comment? It's the same thing with YouTube. We're posting these videos, hoping for views, hoping for some type of engagement, a like, a comment, something. And there have been a few moments where I have felt like, what am I doing this for, when I don't feel like I'm getting the audience that I really want? But what has kept me going, and what is actually the next question. So how does it feel when someone says your channel got them back into reading? I do this because I love when people tell me that they found my channel through some sort of review. I was like the first YouTube channel that they saw that got them into BookTube. People have read books that I have recommended and they really have enjoyed them, or they have read books that I enjoyed that they didn't. That's fine. We can agree to disagree. But I love the interacting with you guys and kind of talking about the books that, you know, we have read and our feelings on those. That is what keeps me going. And every time I get that feeling of, I don't know if I just have the energy to do this anymore, then all of a sudden somebody, some nice person out there will send me a comment that says something to the effect of, new subscriber, I'm really enjoying your videos. And then that like jolts me back alive. And it's like, that's why you're doing this, because there are people watching. There are people that enjoy your content. And I just love interacting with you guys. I try my hardest to like respond to every comment, or at least like every comment and let you guys know that I appreciate you. So anytime people tell me that they are just appreciating my content, that is what keeps me going. What's one thing you wish more people understood about BookTube creators? In my personal opinion, I think people need to understand that creating this type of content is so time consuming, because not only are we talking about books, but we have to read them. Like some of these books that we reading, like it takes time. It takes time to read books. It feels like sometimes that's all I'm doing is reading books. And I wish people would understand that. Like it just takes a lot of time. I know some people have more time than other people to read, but I know for me, I work a full-time job. I have other hobbies outside of reading. I have friends, I have family. So fitting in reading sometimes is hard, and sometimes I really feel like I have to fly through certain books so that I can, post something for you guys. But reading can be very time consuming. This is very time consuming type of content, in my opinion, to post about. The next question is, have you made any real life friends through BookTube? How did you meet? I've actually connected with quite a few people here in the BookTube space. I have met one BookTuber. I think her channel is She Read That. We are actually in the same book club, and that is the only BookTuber that I have actually met in person. Everybody else that I have connected with, we've chatted through BookTube, but mainly we chat through Instagram, and we kind of check on each other from time to time. And I really, really enjoyed that. That was another thing that I wanted. I wanted to make friends, and I feel like I have. One of my really good friends who has since become a BookTuber later, I met through Instagram. So Bookstagram, essentially. So the side of Instagram that talks about books. I met her through there, and we have become really good friends, and we do a lot of bookish things together, go to a lot of book events together. But through this community, I have connected with so many people here on BookTube and also on Instagram. If someone is brand new to your channel, which 3 videos should they watch first? I don't have 3 specific videos that I feel like someone should watch first on my channel, but I do have 3 type of videos that I feel like people should watch on my channel. So if you are new to my channel and you're not sure what to watch, I would say check out my playlist for which one is better. I think those are videos that I really enjoy making, and so I'm really excited about those books that I'm talking about. So I think that's a good place to start. I also think my end of the year videos are a good place to start. So for the past 5 years, I have playlists for each year, for each end of the year videos. And so those would be like my best books of the year, my worst books of the year. I think if you guys want to get a sense of what type of books I like and what type of books I don't like, those are good videos to watch. Also, my individual book reviews. So my book reviews where I'm giving something a rave review, and then my rant reviews. Again, it will give you guys a good idea of what I like and don't like. So that's where I kind of would tell you guys to start. Has your reading taste changed since you started? I would say yes, kinda. I'm one of those where I read pretty much across the board. I think I read more mystery thrillers, but I also read horror. I read a lot of fantasy. I read romance. I read contemporary fiction, literary fiction. But since I've started, I've definitely leaned more towards the thriller side. And I honestly, even though I love me a good mystery thriller, I definitely want to start reading different genres and kind of having a better balance between that, because I do read a lot of different things. So I just want to make sure that people know and understand that I read a lot of different things. What advice would you give to someone starting a BookTube right now? The biggest thing, or the biggest piece of advice that I would give to anybody starting a BookTube channel, one, is just start it. I know before I started my BookTube channel, I gave myself all of these excuses on why I had to wait, why I had to push it back. Just start. You do not need to have your first few videos be the best videos that you're ever gonna make. You're gonna grow and evolve as you keep doing it. You also don't need expensive equipment. As I've already told you guys, I'm still using my phone. That works for me. You do not need the most expensive equipment to start. Also, when you start your BookTube channel, I would say just stay true to you. Stay true to the content that you want to make. I know it's very easy to get sucked in and to do all of this like popular content that everybody else is doing. By all means do that, but also make the content that you want to make, because that is going to prevent burnout, and that is going to ensure that you are making content that you want to make, and it will always be fun to you if you're doing something that you want to do and just not what is popular. Now we're kind of getting into my last few questions, and these are kind of more of the fun questions that I was asked. So the first one is, what is your favorite book to movie duo of all time? I have the most plain answer for this. That is always going to be Harry Potter. I am a big Harry Potter fan. I don't really talk about it. I haven't read it in years. But when I was reading those books, when that first movie came out, I was blown away by how that movie really took everything that I had imagined and brought it to life to a T. It is really hard for anything to live up to how I felt when I read Harry Potter and saw the movie. Now, there are of course other series that I think have done it well, like The Hunger Games, like Twilight. I think all of those have done it well, but Harry Potter will always be my favorite. Next question is, what's the most amount of books you've read in a day? That is 3. And I know that for a fact because I did a 24-hour reading vlog and I was able to read 3 books in one day. I don't typically try and hurry up and finish a book in a day or anything like that. I really take my time with reading. I can read fast if I really want to, but there's no need. So I just kind of take my time, but I know for that particular day, I was able to read 3 books in a day. What's a book you've recommended the most over these 5 years? Should be no secret to anybody, but S.A. Cosby is my all-time favorite author. If you guys have been around on this channel, you know I have several videos talking about his books. And the book that I probably have recommended the most, especially when people are asking what's a really good thriller, it would be Razorblade Tears, my all-time favorite book by S.A. Cosby, one of my all-time favorite books ever, and it is a book that I will never get tired of recommending. So if you have not read Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby, I suggest you pick that up. What's the worst book you've read in the past few years? The first one that came to mind was the reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. That came out last year. It is I think it was young adult. It was a young adult thriller. Hated it. Absolutely hated it. Anytime I start thinking about that book, I start to get hot and worked up, and I did not like that book. It's not a secret. I did not like it. I probably think that is like the least favorite book of Holly Jackson's. And you guys know I am a Holly Jackson stan, but I did not like that book. And I have a rant review about it, so I will link that down below in case you guys have not heard my thoughts on that yet, but did not like that book. What's your favorite book you've read in 2025? Again, this is not going to be a shock to anybody, but it is King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. It's an adult thriller. I have a dedicated review for this book. It did come out this year, and I loved it. I did not think I was going to feel otherwise, but I absolutely love that book. You will hear me talking about it again before the year is up. But if you have not read King of Ashes, I suggest you pick that up. And then the last question that we have, and the funniest question that I feel like I have received, it says, if you could tell one author to give book writing a break, who would it be? I have 2 authors that I think can take a break. The first one is Frida McFadden. Every time I look up, this lady has released a new book, or is about to release a book, or she is about to release 2 more books. I think she had like 5 releases this year so far, and they're already talking about the books that she's going to be releasing next year. I think Frida can sit down for a little bit. Also, who I think deserves a break, a well-deserved break, is Mr. Brandon Sanderson. it seems like that man is always pumping out a book as well. I think, was it a couple of years ago, he had like that secret project that he was doing. He had like multiple books coming out in one year. I think he deserves a break too. I'm pretty sure he's tired. I think both of them should just take a vacation. It's okay. I think we'll be okay. I think there are enough of your books out there in the world that we will be okay if you were to sit a year out, I'm sure. Those are all the questions that I received. Thank you so much to the people who have sent me a question. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the answer. Now, if any of the things that I have talked about are related to any videos that I have made on this channel, I will have those linked down below for you guys to enjoy. But if you have any additional questions that you would like me to answer, please leave those down in the comments below. And before I close out, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you guys who have been here, especially have been here with me from the start. It has been a wonderful 5 years. I have enjoyed my time here on BookTube. I do not foresee myself quitting anytime soon. And thank you to all of my new subscribers. I hope you have been enjoying your time here, and I hope you are willing to stay. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.